Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Draw with T. Today we are doing something both familiar and different. So if you watched last episode, then this is familiar in that it is, once again, another cartoon character whose head takes up the entire page. Now what's new is that this isn't my character at all. It's actually somebody else's character. It's actually my friend's character, a TikTok friend of mine. And her username is @Scuttybutty, so if you want to find her on YouTube, you can go there. This is her OC called Simply Witch. Not Simply Witch, her name is Witch. And by name, I mean that in air quotes because I'm pretty sure Witch has a name, but nobody knows Witch's name, and that's kind of what's cool about Witch. Witch is sort of this cursed character, and we don't really know an entire lot about her backstory, and that's sort of, you know, the whole story behind her. Like, there's obviously a curse, and I'm sure I've missed some of the videos where Scutty explains some of what's going on, but you know, Witch was a person, Witch was cursed, and now she is only known as Witch because, you know, Fey magic. I imagine it's Fey magic, you know, Fey magic and names and all that and whatnot. And I just really love this character, and I love how Scutty plays this character, and so I don't know, my chaotic energy just had to draw, you know, Scutty's Witch, so that's what I'm going to be doing here. Now, this drawing actually was quite hard for me, for a few reasons. One being that this character has a mask and a hat. His character is female, but sort of has a draconic mask, which, you know, I kept drawing quite masculine-like, so I was like, well, how do I make this character feel female and, you know, also get that tooniness in? And I kept kind of losing the tooniness. Hats also pose a big problem to me. I don't know why. I've just never been good with circles, and hats are really confusing. Maybe it's something I need to practice. The other thing that made this hard, totally unrelated to art, was I was just drawing on a day when there was company over, and I was kept being bothered for various things. Well, I say bothered like it was a bad thing. I mean, there were just things that had to be done, and I was trying to squeeze a drawing in, and I was having a hard time with the drawing. So it was just kind of a very hectic moment for me, but I got there in the end, and the results are pretty good. Spoilers, I wasn't quite able to finish this one, so there might be a future episode where I do, or there might not be. As I said, I believe the Draw with T series is going to be over at episode 100-ish, at least officially. That's when I'm going to stop making 2 a week. It might be some more episodes, so who knows, maybe you will see me finish Witch. I'm not entirely sure. But for the time being, let's see how far I get. So here you can kind of see I'm detailing out the face, and I'm having a hard time because I'm not sure what expression to do for Witch. You know, like something. She's quite I would say an even emotion character. Given that Scutty plays her with a mask, obviously masks make it hard to emote. So, you know, what expressions Witch is actually having underneath the mask, I'm not entirely sure. I took a lot of liberty and license and decided that, you know, if this character was a cartoon character, the mask eyebrows and stuff would have a lot of emotation to them. Given what I know about Scutty's character, the mask seems to be stuck to her face, and I'm not sure if the mask is a living entity or if the living entity manifests as a mask. But the mask is basically stuck on her face, and I say it as if it's like no big deal, but it's kind of a big deal. It's a big power source stuck on her face, and it's sort of got a mind of its own, and that tells me that this is sort of this magical ancient thing, and if it got stuck on your face, well, in cartoon land, that basically means it's going to be part of your face. So any emotions you make, that mask is going to make. Or if that mask is making emotions, it's going to be doing it with your face. So have fun with that. By the way, Scutty, I hope you like this. I'm going to assume you do, because most people quite like fan art. And, you know, I had a lot of fun doing this, despite how frustrating the situation was. As an artist, it's always good to challenge myself and grow. Here you can see is the moment I stop putzing around and I finally dive into something. This side of the face really spoke to me. I'm like, yes, this is it. Got it. And then once I set that in stone, I went to town, basically setting everything else in stone. Once I had that one side done, it was very easy to just slowly extrapolate out from there. Usually I do things evenly across the board, but this wasn't one of those days. This whole closer eye is going to go through a few transformations where I'm just like, I don't really know what's going on here. I believe, yeah, this is the final one where I just throw down lines and hope the heck that it's going to turn out well. And it did, so I'm happy with that. I think I was successful in kind of showing a bit of eyelash and then having kind of the mask around the eye and kind of taking up the eyebrow. And I think that works. Now, once again, kind of with the last episode, I kind of don't have too much more to say about this in terms of techniques or stuff. I mean, it's me sketching, and you've seen that plenty of times before, so I'm just gonna say, sorry, Scutty, that I kept this from you for quite a while. This is time-stamped as March 22nd. Actually, I think it was March 23rd, but I was just in such a frazzle I marked it as March 22nd. You're gonna be discovering that I did this later. I don't know how later. I'm hoping sooner than later, but definitely later, just because I have a queue of things to set out before I get to this. And I like to keep my art in order of how I made it, but don't worry, it wasn't months, it was just days. I hope you enjoy it. And I hope you don't mind that I kind of just hid this from you. I didn't plan this at all. I really just sat down, I'm like, I need to draw something, and I was just thinking about, yeah, you know what's really cool? Witch's mask is really cool. You know what else is cool? Witch is pretty cool. Yeah, you know, I've been on a TikTok OC kick of late. I really like seeing people make OCs. It reminds me of when I first discovered webcomics, and I loved webcomics in 2004 when I discovered them. I was kind of younger. Basically, first of all, it was free comics, so yay, but also just I got to see what anybody in the world with a mind to draw wanted to make. Any story they wanted to tell. Not censored by any publication, not vetoed for, you know, what would work with, quote, the kids. Just whatever anybody wanted, and I absolutely love that. That's my favorite form of media. Just you know, not quite uncensored, but just, you know, they're not having to prove to a third party that this is worth somebody's time. It's the reason that I like to read some junky stuff off of Amazon's self-published section. Usually that's lesbian romance stuff, but still, I mean, it's stuff that you're never going to see published because, yeah, it's not polished, it's not great, you know. Same with TikTok. These aren't professional actors, professional costume makers. It's just people having fun making characters and telling a story through them. But I like that. I like the unexpected things. I like seeing the honesty of people trying with what they've got, even if it's not great. I mean, in the case of Witch, the costume is amazing, Scutty. I hope you know that. It's really on par. It's great. It doesn't have to be CGI or anything to be amazing, and that's what I like about TikTok characters, is it's just people telling something from the heart, and those are always the best stories for me. I'm always willing to watch that as willingly as I am to watch some AAA movie or someone play a AAA game. It's all on par for me. So, and I was just kind of thinking about that. I'm like, yeah, let's just do this. Let's just draw. There was just so much happening at the time that ADHD chaos just manifested, and I just had to manifest some art, despite how frustrating the chaos was around me. Yeah. I will say I'm very happy with how the mask turned out. The whole face is, I think, pretty good, but the mask was what I was most worried about and what I was most looking forward to drawing, and I think I did an okay job. Kind of a nice mix of cartoon and you know, and the actual person. I always worry when I draw my cartoons that it's not going to look like a person, and that's why I've never really drawn other people before, is, you know, yeah, I can draw you as a cartoon, but are you going to be able to know it's you from, you know, generic Bob #2? Probably not. But this gave me some faith that maybe I could draw some other people. Maybe I can only do it if they wear masks and iconic costumes. I'm not sure, but maybe I'll take a stab at someone else. I'm not entirely sure. I'm feeling some chaotic art energy, so I'm just going with the flow of what I feel like doing. Now, about this point in the drawing, I was quite pressed for time. I think I whatever time I had, I didn't have much of it. And that was where I was like, well, okay, the face is good. I'll just kind of have to roughen the hat. The hat gave me so much trouble. Hats give me trouble. I don't know what it is. I just don't understand hats. Even when it's like a direct reference in front of me, I'm just like, I don't understand how this works. It's sort of a circle, but it's not. It's got, the brim's got a certain shape to it. It's always got a little divot here and a little more here and a little less there. I'm just like, I don't get it. But I think I did okay. But I was kind of rushing for a lot of it. There was a lot more detail I wanted to put in various areas that just kind of, unfortunately, I didn't have time for. But, I think I got what mattered. This was also supposed to be not quite full color, but colored in. So I was going to sort of color in the hat and hair. I tend to leave the skin tones just bare color just because, I don't know, it's a thing I do. I'm rather lazy when it comes to sketching. So if I have to pull out colors beyond the roughly 8 or 12 that I have on hand, if I actually have to reach into my thing of pencil crayons and pull out pencil colors that actually work, I kind of just don't want to. Just because, I don't know, when I'm in the mode of sketching, I just need to sketch. I just need to go with the flow, and if I have to stop that flow to grab something, nope, it's not happening. But I also don't like having too many pencil crayons out, because then that's commitment. Don't ask me the rules. This is just ADHD chaos, honestly. But yeah, so there was supposed to be more color here. I don't quite have the appropriate browns out, though I could make them up. I just didn't really have time to get to all the coloring, so I decided to just use my time wisely, get to what I could, kind of make it look like an artsy thing, like I planned it from the start to be only partially colored. And maybe that's how it'll look. Maybe it'll look even better that way. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, so I hit the mouth with a little bit of color, hit the eyes with a little bit of color. I'm actually not entirely sure what color your eyes are, Scutty, but I decided that I was going to do kind of a mix of brown and greenish, just because those are kind of the colors of the outfit and the mask. A little bit of red just to, counterbalance the green, because art reasons. And then this is the only thing I was able to color, unfortunately, just the mask. But, I did put some proper time and thought into it. I didn't just hit it with some green and be done with it. As you'll see here, I really like this mask. Both the version I've drawn and the actual mask that Scutty has. It's a very unique mask. Very awesome mask. I am mainly talking about the mask because I don't have much else to talk about until I start actually laying some color down here. Here I start layering things, so I'm going to hit it with some yellow, I believe some brown, some orange, just kind of some wacky colors that probably don't make sense to you if you're not an artist, but it does make sense if you use pencil crayons. You just sort of use these different colors to get these sort of different tones, and the mass of it ends up working. Like, since the green I'm working here is very green, but Scutty's mask is kind of more of a coppery, darker sort of seaweed green. I think it's seaweed green. I don't know what the appropriate name is. I decided to hit it with a bit of orange, a bit of brown, a bit of red, to kind of get that sort of olive colored, glittery, sort of greenish copper look to it. And I think it worked out pretty well. I was actually just quite impressed with the 3D construction of the mask that I did, because usually I quite suck at 3D construction, especially when it comes to cartoons. And that's kind of it, other than play-by-play and a blow-by-blow of exactly what strokes I do, which I don't think we really particularly need. But yeah, that was basically all I was able to do before I had to rush off and be part of the be a good socialite and do the social with the family and whatnot. So maybe I'll be able to get back to this. There is one more important thing that I must do, and you will see me write it here. I nearly forgot too, but this ties it all together. I don't know if this was what I was thinking when I decided I need to draw this, but I just had to write it in afterwards. And Scutty, I hope this makes it for you. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you in the next episode. And I do not know what these weird lines are about. Sorry about that.